All right. Hey, family. Welcome back to my channel. I am, as you guys can see by the title, going to be talking to you guys about my trip to Ghana and also giving you some price points and things that you need to do to prepare before going to Ghana. All right. So, before I went, you have to do some steps, like you have to go to get a shot. So the first thing that was, so first I scheduled hotel accommodations and flights. So this was not a Delta package, but I did fly Delta. But I didn't reserve my hotel through Delta. So we stayed. So my flight was, how much was my flight? My flight was $1,402.17, and that was round trip. Now we had we had one layover. So we went from RDU to JFK, either JFK or LaGuardia, somewhere in New York, one of those. And then we left there and went straight on into Ghana. So your flight normally, and I hear that this is very common, that how the flight patterns are. So we left late in the afternoon, like 6 o'clock, got to JFK or LaGuardia, got to New York airport around 8. No, we left at 4, got there somewhere around 6-ish, didn't leave, and then we then left there around 8, and we got into Ghana like the next day, maybe 2 o'clock the next day, 2, 3, something like that, the following day. So in total, this was like a 14 hour trip, I think it was. Y'all, the trip was actually pretty fast though. So when you get on, of course they give you're getting, by the time you get on, you're getting dinner. So you get 2 meals. So when you get on, you're getting dinner, and then you go to sleep. They give you a blanket, toothbrush, toothpaste, all this stuff, like a toiletry packet and a pillow. And then by the time you go to sleep, you wake up and it's breakfast. And then I guess depending upon your sleep pattern though. So it's breakfast, and then after that you are landing shortly after that. The one thing I didn't like though was in the New York airport, you go through this extensive process because that's the point that you're leaving the US. So they have to recheck you, like security checks, all that stuff, even though you're just literally coming off of a plane and into the airport. I don't remember if we had to recheck bags. I don't think we rechecked any bags. I think they followed us through. And yeah, like you couldn't go past a certain, like once you went through security that second time in New York, you couldn't go past a certain point, like even in a little space. It was very odd, but nonetheless, I understand it's for security measures. So then, you wake up, you land, and you're in another country. And the scene, I cannot express the feeling of seeing Africa for the first time, specifically. Well, I don't even know what part we were flying over, but I'll put a picture here, a clip here of where you can see like that feeling. Is just like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I'm really going to the motherland. I'm really here in Africa, about to be breathing African air. And it was, I don't know, it was something that shifted in me at that moment. I was really grateful. And I hear a lot of people say that they have these moments when they're traveling the country, going to other places, but specifically when they go to Africa, they have these feelings. And I definitely did. It was just like, God, I'm grateful to have this opportunity. I don't know that much about, my ancestry. I don't know where my bloodline really started, if it was here or not in Africa, but a lot of times it's this feeling when you hit the land. It's just like almost like an immediate connection, right? It was great. But I'm gonna tell y'all more about that. But first, let's talk about the prepping. So in order to get into Ghana, you need both a visa and a passport. And I know this information is, I don't know if it's really, it's still relevant, but a lot of people probably are not really traveling to Ghana considering the administration and all the things that are happening. So But in case somebody is, this could be helpful, or in case you're just like me, you just nosy and you want to know what people did, then you will probably watch this. So to prepare, you have to have a visa and you have to have your passport. So a visa essentially is just a sticker basically that they give you on your in your passport once you go through this long process. And it really wasn't long. It was just kind of tedious. And for a person who like sometimes suffer from anxiety, it's nerve-wracking. Because it's like, what if I don't prepare the documents on time? What if I don't do them right? What if something comes back wrong? Am I going to be left here? None of that ever happens. Like, I can't say it doesn't ever happen, but don't overthink the process. So for a visa, the visa basically states you're only going to be there for a certain amount of time. I don't remember. I didn't get the long-term visa. It was very short-term. I don't even think it was a month. It might have been a whole month, and that was it. But so you turn in, it's an application, and within that application is a hotel confirmation. You got to have your birth certificate in there. So it's a packet, a picture, like a passport picture of yourself. You got to have your yellow fever shot, proof that you have a yellow fever shot. Host information. So if you're going to stay with somebody, if someone's inviting you, like if you're going for research or if you just want to visit friends and family, you have to have their information submitted with this application. The application itself, and then proof of travel, which basically is your hotel accommodations and your flight. And then you pay for it online, and then you have to ship it through the US. Now, the postal services. So now, I was really scared to send my passport and all this other stuff because it's like, what if I don't get this back? What do I do? It comes back. Everything comes back just fine. You get everything you need. Everything you send to them, you get it back. Now, the yellow fever shot is something you have to do first before you can submit this application. And you have to set up an appointment. Well, I won't say have to because I've heard other people just go to their primary care doctors. I set up an appointment with Passport Health. And they do all your shots. They give you all the medications. So you're going to need malaria medication. And you take that, I think, a week before you go and a week after you come back. Now, don't be like me and be a fool because I paid $700 for a bunch of shots that I probably didn't need. Well, shots that I was missing, but it's not necessary to get. The only thing you need to get there is a yellow fever shot. Now, I went ahead and got what is it? It was just a bunch of shots. Like I needed an updated tetanus shot, and then I needed oh my gosh, I did the yellow fever tetanus shot. I did a measles. Yes, I did a measles shot, and then it was one more other shot that I took because they said that it was coming here, like hadn't hit the U.S. yet, but where I was going, it was a lot of people in Ghana, I guess, or in that area that had it. I can't remember what the sickness is, but so I'm like, yeah, load me up. I'm not trying to come back sick. I want to enjoy, have a good time. So, but thinking in hindsight, I wouldn't have gotten any of those because none of that happened, and no one else that I went with did that either. They literally only got the yellow fever shot, and I think that was I don't $300 maybe, something like that. It was a lot of money, but that's a one-time shot that you do not ever have to take again. And they give you this cute little yellow card, and they put the sticker on there and it tells you, all the information. Then in there, they also give you a prescription for malaria, and they also talk to you about mosquito repellent because mosquitoes there do they carry malaria? They carry a sickness or whatever, and so they're like, you don't want that, so make sure you have really good bug repellent. And they get bit over there. I think I got bit more in Belize by the sand fleas than anywhere else. I had no problems, like I wasn't sick. Some people get upset stomach and all that stuff when they get to different countries. I had no problems whatsoever. Of course, I didn't drink water that wasn't bottled water, and I didn't eat any food that was off the street. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, we didn't eat any food off the street. So, although I wanted to, because some of the food, I just wanted some authentic food, but I wasn't trying to be sick. So yellow fever. So once you get the yellow fever shot, then you submit that form with that. So $700 was money I didn't have to spend, but I did spend it. Plus the $1,402, which was my my flight, and the hotel itself was $1,080. But altogether it was $2,160. But I split the room, so me and my sister, we stayed in the room together. So that ended up being $1,080, because in the beginning we were going to have our own rooms, and then we were like, let's just split this. It's not that serious. So we and it was fine. It was plenty of space. It was perfect. So and then $29 is the postal fee for your for the visa. I couldn't find how much I paid for the visa. Part of me wants to say I paid like $60 for the visa itself, but I might be wrong. But I'm gonna confirm that. I'll confirm it. So that was that. So flight. So you land into Ghana, all this cool stuff. When you first land, y'all, let me tell you something. People in America, for whatever reason, want you to think that people in Africa don't like us. And that is not my experience. That is the furthest thing from the truth. Now, some people could say, it's because you're a tourist and they want your money and they have to be nice to you, blah, blah, blah. Everywhere, upon arrival, the first thing they say to you is welcome home. We've been waiting. Or it's like, welcome home, we're glad you're here, my sister, blah, blah, blah. Even on the tour, so we did tours. I'm going to talk to y'all about my tours in a minute, because we did a lot of tours. But even on the tour, we did two of the castles. And the very first castle, that's what one of the men tell you that was doing the tour. That's what he told us. He was like, hey, don't let them feed you lies in the U.S. We do love you guys. We do feel like you are a part of who we are. And they kind of just dispel all these types of rumors that we hear and things that we believe here in the U.S. because of what white culture feeds us. And also because of misinformation that we feed each other. And it's really sad. But anyway, I am glad that I did have this experience, because it helps me to see and know the truth, while other people are just, they never get out and travel, and they only have a bunch of speculations and hearsay. So thank you to the Ghanaians that I met that, were genuine and authentic and really have a love for Americans, and show that you have a love for us. Everybody is so they're so, what is the word? They help each other immediately. It's always kind of you're an extension of me. So I want to help you to do better, to be better, all that. All right, so let's talk about excursions. So excursions, we did a lot, y'all. So this trip, my sister's friend. Her husband is Ghanaian, and so they go every year, and so they decided to put together a group to go, and so I decided to tag along and go. And we did Aburi Gardens, Boti Falls, we did a Cocoa tour, we did W.E.B. Du Bois tour, we toured two of the castles, Elmina and Cape Coast. We ate lunch in the mountains, we went to the beach, we did a general tour of Ghana. So Aburi Gardens and we hiked. Let me tell y'all, hiking here in North Carolina and hiking in Ghana is very different. I forget where this hike was. Boti Falls was part of so it's, you drive into the place, to the right is this waterfall, which is Boti Falls. I'll put a little picture of video here. And then, to the left, and then you go to the right is where you start hiking. Y'all, I'm short, I'm 5 feet. So climbing up mountains and hills to get up to a peak, and I'm going to show a picture of the peak, where we were. It's like a cliff, and it's kind of scary, but it was very beautiful to see once you get to the top of that mountain or wherever we were. But it took a lot to get there. I mean, over the river and through the woods, on top of having to hop over, these hills. It was crazy. But I'm glad I did have the experience, but I won't do that again. The cocoa tour was nice. They educated us about how cocoa is made. We talked about who planted the first tree. What else? Oh, the Berea Gardens. That was part of that tour. No, that was before that tour. And they showed us how it's made. We got to taste it in its like purest form. That was really cool. The W.E.B. Du Bois tour was really nice as well. I think it was his home we toured. And it was it his home or was it just, I don't know. It was something that they turned, but it basically told us about his life, all his accomplishments, all that stuff. I want to say it was maybe a home of his. No, I think they just turned, I don't know what it was, but anyway, we toured that. I got some pictures here I'm going to show you of that, and we had a really good time. Like it was really nice to see even what do you call it, like his, even we got to see like a memorial area for him and to see people from all over the world. I think one of the schools in North Carolina actually sent a memorial piece, which is just like really pretty flowers. They sent some there, so that was pretty cool to see. And it was just cool. It was really just a really nice experience. And to know his history and legacy there and how it continues to live on. So what else? So we toured the 2 castles. Y'all, I don't even have the energy or even the words still to this day to express the feeling that I had walking into those castles and listening to the stories. At one of the doors is called the Door of No Return, and it was kind of moving to be able to walk through those doors and return back through those doors, because possibly my ancestors didn't return through those doors. Once they went through those doors, they never returned back. But to the simple fact that we did it. We walked through and came back. It was just like, wow, this is crazy to be able to see the ocean where a lot of possibly be my ancestors. A lot of them threw themselves overboard. A lot of them were thrown overboard. We got to see tunnels, dungeons. You guys, there was a point where they they turned out the lights, closed the doors, and we were in the dungeon. And it smells. It's almost like you can still smell the stench of flesh and blood and everything. It was so terrible, but at the same time it was an unforgettable experience, and it was so quiet. Everybody was kind of just taking it all in. Some people were crying, some people were just kind of really speechless. That was me. I was really speechless, because it was just like, this is just it's crazy to think that people endured this, and to think that how far our Black people have come. And so and chains, there were still they kept some original chains. That was crazy. They have bars, but they said that they replaced some of the bars had been replaced, but some of them were the original bars, I think. We got to see like the tunnel that led to the ocean. Y'all, when I say it was bone chilling. I don't even know. I don't even have the words to this day. And it's been 2-3 years. It's been a while. But it was still a great experience. Now, something that I didn't expect to see was to see white people at the castles. People, they were taking pictures. Some of them were there like gaining knowledge, and it was like, that was interesting. Some people had like some questions or, you know, adverse feelings with me. I was mostly like, I didn't have a problem with it. It was like history. It's history, and I feel like everybody should know about it. And what you do with after you gain that history is what's most important. So whether you're advocating for better for, you know, African Americans or Black people, or whether you are educating your own children about the past, about the truth of the past, all of these things are important and all these things matter. And in order to do that, you have to have knowledge of it. So that was cool. What else? Both of the castles, we got to see the it's like a little cannon thing. It's, y'all, when I say you really don't have the words, you don't have the words. Then there was a point where we saw people like working. You saw people coming back from the water, like I guess they were fishing. Some people were doing some things, but it's just really nice. We had lunch at this place that it was like a hotel. Well, it had a pool. I want to say it was a hotel. There was a pool outside, but also you could eat dinner at this location. Food was good. I'm gonna talk to y'all about food next because I'm a picky eater. So and then we did a general tour of Ghana. So, you know, the little star, we got a picture of what else, just a bunch of like, I guess, historic things there that people would want to see. We went to see that. Also, we went to oh my god, went to Makola Market, and we went to this other market. I forgot the name of it, but it's very busy. I think that is the Makola Market. It's very busy. It's tons of people everywhere, but it's like stuff for cheap. It's everything from the little scrub things, to shea butter, to earrings, shades, glasses, clothes. I bought two authentic, a kente cloth, like authentic kente cloth. Y'all, there is a fly in here that I keep trying to kill. So if y'all see it, excuse it. A kente cloth, and what else? A kente cloth dress, and the other one, I forgot what it was, but it's a really nice material. They are very honest there in Ghana. So while I had lost like 70 pounds, I was a lot smaller than I had ever been. I was 154 by the time I reached Ghana. And the lady was like, oh, so my sister was there. So, you know, she's like, okay, you need like a small or medium or whatever. And then she looks at me, she's like, oh, you need big size. And then she pulls out this big dress. Y'all, I kid you not. It was the funniest thing ever because they're so honest, but yet they're so genuine. So yeah, Makola Market was packed, and the people are nice. So we Ubered over. Or called a taxi. I think they call it taxis. I don't think it's Uber there, but called a taxi over. The guy stayed with us the whole time. He's like, okay, I'm gonna take you, but I'm not gonna leave you. I'm gonna like help you navigate the place. So he did, and you know, when we were ready to go home, we just told him we're ready, or go back to the hotel. We just told him, and he took us. So that was really interesting and fun. A lot of souvenirs and stuff are made by hand, and so we got what we wanted. Now, one piece of advice I would tell you, as far as, let's talk money, is, so there's an app that I use. I'm gonna put the name of the app because I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically tells you how to calculate your money, like in exchange, like in another country. So US dollar would be this. In Ghana, they call them cedis. So, you know, I don't know what it is now because I think it changes, but everything was a lot cheaper in cedis than American dollars. So you use that app to tell you how much something is in your US dollars, because they do accept US dollars. But then so what I will tell you is, don't change over a lot of money. Like, maybe we were there for 9 days, so they suggested we exchange like $500. I only did in the beginning. By the time we were done, I probably exchanged about that much money, but in the beginning I just exchanged $200 to $300. You could do it when you arrive. Did I? Yeah, there's like a hotel. I'm gonna tell you about where I stayed too, but it was another hotel across the street almost where they had an exchange place there. But also we exchanged. I'm trying to remember if where else did we exchange money, but I think that might have been the only place that we exchanged. But anyway, you exchange your money, and because once you switch it over to cedis, you cannot flip it back to the US money. And if you do, I think you can, but if you do, you lose money. So just only what you think you're going to need in that moment. So, all right, next, accommodation. So we stayed at the Kempinski Hotel, which I hear is one of the more expensive hotels. So if you're going to go to Ghana, you don't have to stay at Kempinski. I don't know how, I guess that's just the hotel that they chose, like the group of people chose. I'm grateful though, because I loved it. It was a beautiful hotel. It was very, I told you it was spacious. It was nice. We had food. We ate, there's a restaurant there that we ate at, but a lot of times I ate most of my food. So let's move to the food. So most of the time I ate a lot of fish, I ate a lot of rice, I ate a lot of pizza, and I ate a lot of fries because I'm a picky eater. And I didn't want to, I ate a lot of jollof rice, definitely a lot of jollof. But it's not that I didn't want to try. I did try some new things. I think it was, I forgot what it's called, but it's almost like a soup. I think I tried a goosey. Did I try a goosey? I think so. But it's if you are a picky eater, research ahead of time. Research ahead of time some things that you would want to eat so that you could be prepared. Because if you don't, you're gonna be eating basic stuff like me. But it was still good. I didn't complain. I loved the food. I liked the options were pretty, and I ate shrimp too. A lot of red snapper. I loved that red snapper that they had. Did we swim? We went to some beaches, but we didn't like really swim. So we went to one beach that was dirty. It was not, But then we did see another beach that was beautiful. They had it set up for a wedding. The water looked a lot cleaner, and it was a bigger beach. It was connected. The hotel was near it. And, it was nice. We just were passing through on a tour. What else do we need to know? I talked about money, hotel. At the end, I'll give you a calculation of altogether of what this costs. I'm gonna say between $3,000 and $4,000, and that includes the excursions. So we paid separately for our excursions, and they were like $200 to $300 a piece. And it was a little difficult to pay for them because sometimes the system, we paid for a while in the US, so sometimes the system either took a while for it to transfer to them, or it took them a minute to actually send us the link so that we could pay for the excursions. But other than that, it was pretty cool. Food. Y'all don't stay past that time on that visa though, because before I went, I researched a lot of, do's and don'ts, pros and cons. And there were a lot of people talking about how they stayed one day over their passport. Oh, that's something else too, y'all. So they the police do random checks in cars. Now, this is what I didn't like. I hate it so bad. They do random checks, like stops at night and throughout the day, and they try to get money out of you. So they'll just request that you give them like $200 or like whatever the price is. And they do that because they know that you're a tourist, or they know they can get the money out of you. Thankfully, we were with somebody who was Ghanaian, who lived there, who have experience. Family is still there. So, and he actually was like a prominent, I don't want to say a king, but what do you call it? He was somebody very big in the area. And but they did stop us, and my heart dropped because this was at a time where police were killing black people just randomly, and during traffic stops and stuff. So that was such a culture shock to me, because he was like, the guy that we were with, he kind of was like, it's okay, relax, like nothing's gonna happen, it's fine, because they stop you at night and they're flashing the flashlight in the car to see how many people, to see what you have, to see if they can charge you a fee, whatever. And so he talked to them and they let us go. But to be an American and that happened, it was total culture shock, because I'm just like, okay, what are we about to get into? What is about to happen here? And so I could see how someone could be traumatized or would be, really scared. Another thing you cannot do is take picture of government officials or like police officers. None of that. You cannot take pictures of government buildings. They see it and they will find you. Like, I'm talking, will grab you up and take you and be like, you can't leave here until you erase that picture. And their police standing, like men with armor and heavy police gear, and on corners, just randomly standing there, like standing guard for whatever reason. You cannot I repeat, do not take pictures of them. That is a big thing there. What else did I learn? I think that's really it. Those are the major things about our trip. Food was good though. Everybody else seemed to enjoy their food. I did too. Only thing I'm mad I didn't try was fufu. I really wanted some fufu, but I didn't get a chance to. And I think that was really it. Everything else I had, we went to a little party. So the friend that invited us, her husband's family was there, so they had like a little cookout for us, and that was really nice to be able to like see real authentic Ghanaian family, like structure, dynamics, see how they interact, all that stuff. Homes, don't let nobody tell you. So that's another thing. There are two sides of Ghana, just like there's a hood and a city part of the U.S. in every state. And city. We hiked through the less glamorous part. So there were places where children were learning in classrooms, and you can see straight through the classroom, dirt floors, no door type situation. Houses were just shot. It was just terrible. But then we also, where their family lived, it was beautiful mansions. Complete mansions, beautiful. I'm talking with pools, the gloss floors. Just never in my life had I experienced that before. It was so nice. So don't let people tell you that in Ghana or in Africa, period, it's only kids with swollen bellies and frail bodies. That's not the case. Like, it's just not it. I mean, maybe somewhere there, but there are nice places as well. They drive like crazy over there, so close your eyes if you get car sick, or if you're one of those people that are nervous about other people driving, because they're in and out of lanes. They know how to navigate it though. No one had an accident. Everything was great. What I did notice too is that we saw a lot of children kind of wandering. I'm talking like 4, 5, 6-year-olds just kind of walking the streets. You see them going into the stores, you see them doing all these things. And that was another culture shock for me, because 5-year-old, if we saw a 5-year-old walking to the store right now by themselves, we're calling CPS, we're calling the cops, we're alarming everybody. But and I said, y'all just let the kids just kind of, the kids are able to freely walk, but like, he said, yes, they're safe. He said, who's going to take them? He was like, I was like, strangers. He was like, who's a stranger? He said, we're all family. That's their auntie. That's their uncle. That's their auntie. That's so-and-so. He was like, you're the stranger. Are you going to steal them? And I was like, no, I am the stranger, but no. And so that's the mindset. Like, that's what I love so much about that, about them too, is they're so, from my perspective, right, it could be different for people actually living there, but from what I experienced, It seems that they're so family oriented. Everybody looks out for one another. Like, he literally was like, no one's gonna steal. These are all their aunties. They're all aunties. No one's gonna hurt them. They have complete trust in their community. And so I thought that was a beautiful thing, because we don't, in the US, we don't have that. Like, we're very much afraid, which rightfully so, to let our children out of our sight because of how cruel the world has become. But that was good to see. I think that's it. So if you're planning to go, get that yellow fever shot first, then your visa, and you also need your passport. Don't forget that. That's like the main thing, because you can't get back home. You can't leave here or get back home without it. There are U.S. embassies there. Today's time, I don't know what it is. This was 2-3 years ago. Again, that might not be the case anymore, or it might be a little bit limited, I guess. I don't know. But we did see the U.S. Embassy. They say it is a good idea to alert them that you are, will be on travel. Alert your banks. That's another piece of information. Alert the banks, the U.S. Embassy, and then there's it's called the STEPS program, where basically you enter in your information. I think that actually is what that is, where it'll alert the embassy that you are going to be traveling there. The time is different there. I think 4 hours, I want to say, between 4 and 6 hours time difference. And your body will adjust. So as soon as I was getting adjusted, my body was getting adjusted to the time, it was time to go home. So I was thrown off for like a good week after I got back home. But it was a good experience. So I would suggest anybody, if you have the ability, if you have the time, visit Ghana and connect to your culture if you feel like that's where your people are. Some people don't believe that, but if you do, go connect. Very nice people, very kind, very giving, very loving. Oh, that's one last thing, y'all. Time is not a thing for African. Well, I won't say in Ghana. Time is not a thing. I hear that for South Africa too. I was in West Africa, but I hear that for South Africa too. Time is really not a thing. So when I say that food, you're gonna wait an hour and a half or more for food because it's fresh. If they tell you that they're gonna be there and at a certain time, expect them to be an hour or so late. And when I asked, they're like, time is a westernized thing. There's no such thing as true time. Like, they don't really abide by time. They're like, late, what's late? We arrive on time when we get there. When we get there, it's on time. And that was interesting to me, but that's their culture. It's a different culture, and we just accept it. And I absolutely will visit again. I absolutely do want to go to Africa, but I want to go to other parts first before I go back to Ghana. But shout out to all the people that I met there and put some of their pictures up. Thank you for welcoming me into your homes, into your spaces, your stores, everything, because it was truly an experience. The drummers, we played drums. They let us, they taught us how to play the drums there. What else did we met so many people, y'all, because we were there for a minute and did a lot of stuff. So if you got questions, comment down below. Let me know. I'll answer as many as I can. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Love you. Bye.